You're listening to the You Get to Decide podcast with your host, Allison Cracciola Gallagher, and this is episode 96. Welcome to the You Get to Decide podcast. This podcast is for the driven woman who's ready to stop spinning her wheels and start creating unstoppable momentum towards the life she truly wants. A life she decides on purpose with unlimited potential. I am your host and life coach, Allison Gallagher. Each week, you'll learn how to manage your mind so it finally works for you instead of against you, creating more clarity, calm, confidence, inspired action, and a whole lot of ease. This is where you learn to finally come home to yourself and live as the woman you've always meant to be. And when women choose themselves, they don't just rise, the whole world rises with them. Let's go. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the You Get to Decide podcast. This is Allison Gallagher, your coach, friend, support system, cheerleader, all the things. But in this cycle of content, I'm talking a lot about binge eating and food noise, food obsession. And I've really been thinking it's been a really long time since I was governed, my whole life was governed by food. And it was the majority of my life. And it's amazing that when we make shifts in our life, that we almost can forget. Like my mom used to say to me, women have more than one child because they forget. We're built to forget what labor is like, and that's why we have more than one child. And I always thought that was so funny. Ironically, I have one child, but I always thought that was so funny that she says like that we're built to forget. And I think humans we do. We forget. We forget, that's why sometimes in the rooms they talk about remembering where you came from. And it's so important because life starts to feel easy, quote unquote, and then you'll end up picking up. Okay. Sometimes they've said that in the rooms, but I've really been thinking about what my life was like as a teenager in my 20s, being in recovery. Now, for 13 years, 12 or 13 years, I was in recovery for food addiction. And for a lot of those years, I didn't obsess over food, but I also wasn't eating sugar and flour. I left those rooms deciding that I probably didn't eat sugar and flour for about 15 years total, 16 years. But when you do that in the process of you think you're healing and not eating sugar and flour is a part of your healing and like you're doing it right, I started to eat sugar and flour and I had all kinds of thoughts about it because I thought I was doing it wrong. But I followed my gut. Like I followed my intuition, which was, I just want to be able to eat any food. And I didn't understand why, but I was like, this still feels not aligned. Like God, my interpretation of God and what I believe, because God is very much a part of recovery, but I believe I have the capacity to eat all foods in balance because other people on the planet do. And so I have that capacity. So I believe God put all these great tasting foods on the planet for us all to enjoy as part of the yin and yang of luxury and deliciousness and not so luxury and not so deliciousness, right? I love the book Conversations with God because it really talks about, and it's a great book to read right now with what's going on in the world right now, like present moment, because it talks about God had to put darkness into the world for us to understand the light and had to give us the option to choose, to show us both sides. So I believe all these good foods in the world are here as a part of the human experience. And then I have the capacity to become a version of me where it can be neutral. Now that kind of leads into what this podcast is about, because It's about our mind and what we believe that will keep us as, you can call yourself a food addict. You can call yourself powerless over food, obsessive, food, just food obsessive, plagued with food noise. And this is what I want to offer if you're feeling like you're at your wit's end. There is something you're not doing yet. That's it. If you're at your wit's end and you're ready to quit, or you think you've tried it all and you've done it all, and the evidence is glaring that you're just not good enough, you're not disciplined enough, you're not strong enough, I promise you there's just something you're not doing yet. Yet. And are you willing to keep going to figure it out? Because something tells me if you're listening to this podcast episode, you are. And it can feel like torture because we want to quit at times. And yet we keep going because the desire is in us to get to the bottom of what's happening, to change it. We envision a different version of ourselves, and we are dying inside to be that version. We are dying to be different, to be set free, to not be a prisoner of our mind. We are dying. And here was what I want to say to you, is there's just something you're not doing yet. That's it. I promise you. Even if you think you've tried all the things, you may not have tried them the way they need to be done, but I just think you haven't tried all the things. Especially this episode. If you have not done what I'm about to speak about, I'm afraid you could stay stuck forever. This is the epitome of healing at the root, of changing at the root. And it's what goes on between your ears about food, about you, and about your capabilities. So I'm going to go through the thoughts, the beliefs that will keep you stuck. Because if you've been listening to my podcasts, and maybe you haven't, maybe this is the very first one you land on, our beliefs will create our results. And so if you're eating, if food noise is all day, you have not changed your beliefs, my friend. You haven't looked inside at what your belief patterns are. If the food noise hasn't quieted down at all, and you're trying to solve for food plan, what kind of foods, what time you eat, how much you're working out, what types of food you're eating, when you eat, the calorie restriction, not eating certain fats, not eating gluten. Like, if you're doing all that and you're not looking at what you believe, listen to me loud and clear. If you never listen to me again, you have to listen to me loud and clear. You will stay stuck as a prisoner of food noise if you do not look at your beliefs, because they are creating your results right now. My results changed in my life. I was able to drop weight. I was able to not succumb to food obsession when I started to shift what I believed. It has to begin there. So if you have not done this, you haven't done everything. This could open everything up for you. And I have something at the end that I'm offering. I'm doing a masterclass on this very thing, along with so much other things that I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to talk to you about the beliefs that will keep us stuck, and then the beliefs that will create shifts and change. But first, what I'm going to say is I'm going to anchor this in with this thing. And I made a video on Instagram. I dropped it yesterday. Your mind tortures you with food all day. Your own brain is torturing you with food. right? And it's like wild, right? We're in an imprisoned brain. It's offering you food all day. Then you eat. Then you do what it says. And then it tortures you and tells you you're weak, you're not good enough, you're a failure, look at you, you did the thing, how dare you, you're not disciplined, you're like all the things over and over and over. Your brain offers you to eat and then it beats you up. Your own brain is doing both of those things. Okay? This is why we can't trust every thought we think. Because that pattern will keep us stuck. And that pattern isn't because you're meant to overeat. Your brain offers you to eat because somewhere along the way you learned it's not safe to feel your feelings, that we need excessive amounts of food to cope with life. It is substituting for something. And you haven't taught your mind and body that you're safe without it. That you can feel the feelings. That you can get through this moment without food. You haven't interrupted the pattern enough to slow down the thoughts to not eat the food. You haven't done it enough. And that's the start of it. Okay? Your brain is going to continue to offer you what it thinks is serving you. And when you choose the food, when it offers it, it's like, oh, this is working. She's surviving, he's surviving, he's well, all is good. Your brain doesn't care if you're miserable. It's like, we're still alive. And this is the pattern that it developed to create for the life it thinks that you're going to thrive in. And it also knows what your desire is. Your desire is to not to eat. Your desire is to be 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 15 pounds less. Your desire is to go out to dinner with your friends and not binge on desserts and alcohol. And your desire is not to put one thing in your mouth and go off to the rails. This is not your desire. Your desire is not to come home from a day of work and let loose. We used to say white knuckle. We would white knuckle it all day, come home, and you just let loose. That's not your desire. And so then your brain thinks it's serving you with shame. If I shame her, she'll do it different. That's what's happening. And if you have not looked at that and interrupted it, you haven't tried everything. And if you knew this and have done this, first of all, it's really hard to do it alone. Okay? And consistency matters. Consistency matters here. Okay? So these are the thoughts. And because when we do pick up food, we have all kinds of thoughts about ourselves. And I'll get to that. But we believe our thoughts are facts. That is number one. That will be a pattern that keeps you stuck. If you're not aware of what you're thinking, other than the food thoughts, though the food thoughts are a part of it, but if you're not aware of what you're thinking in between the food thoughts, and you're just taking it all as factual, my friend, you will stay stuck. Because your brain has created a pattern. Whether it's start to the food thoughts in the morning or the food thoughts are delayed until the afternoon. There is I had a coaching client where at 3:00 those food thoughts would turn on, man. And we stacked habits around 3:00 to help her do it different, slowly. Okay? But this podcast is called You Get to Decide, because you have to create space between the thought and the action. So that's the first thing, that if you continue to believe everything your brain offers you as truth, it will be very, very difficult to heal it at the root, to change it at the root. You can manage behavior that way. White knuckling, hiding, right? Not going to parties, starving. You can try, but in the end, it's not going to be the final success. It's going to be limited. I did a whole podcast about behavior management versus changing it at the root. And I don't know if I did a podcast, but I did the video maybe, but that's the difference. Okay. Behavior management is surface. Changing it at the root is redeveloping your beliefs. It's changing the relationship with your mind and body. Okay. And there are so many different ways to tackle this. It's not just one, which is so great. There are so many different ways to change your relationship with your thoughts and your body. There's so many different ways. Simple ways. Okay, but I'm going to give you the patterns that keep you stuck and then what to change. So some of the thoughts that I have are, if I have a food thought, I have to act on it. Right? That's going to keep you stuck forever. A food thought comes over us and you panic, which I understand. There's a lot of evidence that you give in. Right? But you can just create discernment that, am I really powerless over food? Like, I pick it up and I put it in my mouth. No one's doing that to me. I have a thought. Like, what if you had a thought that, think about a food you hate and your brain offers you to eat that food. You're not going to give in to that thought. Like, it's going to be strange because you literally don't like it. Okay? Or if it tells you to go do something that you're not even capable of doing. Okay? There's a lot of thoughts that we have that we don't answer the call to because we're like, that's crazy. I'm not doing that. Right? That the pattern with food is just a developed pattern that feels so true in our bones. But if you think of a thought that, like I had a coach say to me, because I was in a room with someone who's very pregnant and she couldn't eat chicken. And the coach said, so if your brain offered you to eat chicken right now, you would not do it, right? You'd feel sick to your stomach. You don't listen to every thought that your brain offers. You're choosing which ones through time and patterns, right? So start to look at them as neutral and get curious on why they're there. You believe you're powerless. I can't stop. Food controls me. I'm not strong enough. If you believe you're powerless over food, you will stay stuck. You will create a life of being powerless over food. That's why I did not like recovery, or that's one of the aspects I did not like. Because every time I raise my hand, hi, I'm Allison Gallagher, I'm a compulsive overeater. What? And it might feel really true, guys. But if I am saying it out loud, my mind is hearing it. And I'm deciding I am one. And if you want to see a different life, you have to believe first differently. Go back to the last podcast I did. You have to believe it before you can say it. And if I believe I'm a compulsive overeater, I'm going to create that result. It's like so contradictory of what you want to learn in recovery, right? So believing you're powerless over food, go back to my last example. Like, if there's a food that makes you gag, you're not powerless over that food. You're powerless only over some foods. I'd get really curious on why certain foods are triggers for you and what they do for you. Okay? Just to break up the belief. Like, we want to poke holes in the belief. And I'm going to go into depth in this in my masterclass, and I'll give you that information at the end. We're at war with our body. We're at war with food in our body. This will keep us stuck. There's good and bad food. I'm not allowed to have, I am allowed to have. Restrict and punish. My body is not okay. I'm nothing if I'm not thinner. I'm weak if I had the belief that if I was overweight, people would see I'm weak. That's just it, that I'm weak. If I was overweight, I'm weak. That was my belief, man. And that shit was to my core. I had a lot of therapy around that thought. And then coaching actually helped me like get rid of that thought. Because I'm actually a lot of times stronger when I'm overweight. Because I'm carrying more muscle at times. I need to change my body for it to be enough. If you are at war with your body doesn't feel safe. And it will pull you to eat. Because here's why. And I'm going to go back. If you haven't done any of these things, if you haven't looked at any of these things the way I'm describing them, you haven't tried everything yet. You haven't. Here's why being at war with your body will make you eat. And it won't do the opposite. Like we think if we're at war with our body and we hate our body, it will make us want to take care of it and not eat. But when we are not okay in our own body, it feels awful. And we can't escape it. We try to run from being inside our own body. One of the biggest binge struggles, binge pulls, the strongest binge pulls I had were when I felt fat in my body. Because it felt awful and I can't run from my own body. So we cope with eating because that's what we know. We numb with eating. I would punish myself with food. And when the body doesn't think it's enough, like this is nervous system work. So I want you to go back to episode 71, episode 72. Those are my nervous system, dysregulation, disconnection episodes. Okay. And I go into length with this because if the nervous system doesn't think it's enough, if you do not think you're worthy and enough, that to the nervous system is like the unthinkable. And so we're like, we can't be here. We're unsafe. We're unsafe where we are because we're not enough. We're not worthy. It tells the body we're not enough. And that will create a pull to leave the body. How do we leave the body, guys? We numb. We numb our feelings with food. It's the only way to leave the body is to numb out, disconnect, whether it's scrolling, TikTok, alcohol, gummies, vape, cigarettes, food, whatever numbs us, shopping. Some of us exercise, running, walking, reading, okay, meditation. There's a lot of different ways. Some of them are very, I would say some of them are healthier than others, right? Some of them are destructive. But there's a lot of ways to leave the body. Okay? And if the nervous system doesn't think it's safe to be what it is, to be who it is, that is the ultimate, in survival mode, we are not okay. And that's going to pull you to eat. It is not serving you to be at war with your body. Shame. Using shame as a strategy. I had to put down the shame in order to heal my eating disorder. My goal, if you're in my container or if you're in my world, is to neutralize your relationship with food because it was something you learned along the way. It's not your fault. You didn't know it was happening. Would you have chosen this? No, you would not have chosen this. This was chosen for you, either by your body and your mind when you didn't have the tools you needed to process, or it was something you were raised. I was raised with a bunch of food addicts. And so it landed on me. And my mom was so scared I was going to be overweight that she watched every piece of food that went into my mouth. But that's a reflection of her and her beliefs about her body and her weight. That's what moms have a tendency to do. We project onto our kids, and that's what my mom did. And then my dad was a food addict. My grandfather was a food addict. Right? So I was 4 years old when I was hiding food under my bed. Did I know any better? Did I have access to anything? No, and neither did you. Even if this formed when you were 20, if you had other tools, would you have chosen them? Think about it. This is how we dismantle shame. My clients come to me in shame, most of them. I have a tendency to attract clients with shame, and I'm down with that because I want to be the one to show you why shame is not serving you with love, meet you with love. And that's what I say to every single one of my clients that think they're a burden, that they're weak, that there's something wrong with them, they're broken, right? That's what shame says. If you could have chosen something else in those moments, those big, shitty moments of your life where food has robbed you of whatever, or when you lost your job, or when someone teased you for gaining weight, or someone made a comment around your body, and some type of eating disorder could have been formed, did you have access at that time to any other type of support that was healthy, in a way to process your feelings in a healthy way? No, you didn't. You had the coping tools you had at the time, and that created a pattern of protection. Enter today. That's where we are. It all can be undone. It all can be undone. For real. So shame is, I'm weak, I ruined everything, I'll never change. Fuck it eating. Fuck it eating that'll keep you stuck, right? I had one, let's fucking go. Energy, that will keep you stuck. That is a big one. So these beliefs are just cycle patterns. It's not about discipline. Okay? It's not about discipline. If it was discipline, you'd be a rock solid in all of your results because you're a very disciplined human. Not believing that will keep you stuck. So these are my freedom beliefs. These are the ones that will dismantle, start to break apart the systems, the patterns that keep you eating. And here's what happens. Your brain's not going to show you that you have power over food if you think you're powerless, because your brain wants to serve you. So if you think you're powerless over food, if you think you're weak, if you think your body is not okay, it's going to show you all those reasons. But your brain wants to serve you. So if you start to decide to shift into the beliefs I'm about to offer you, that's where the dismantling of the unwinding of the thoughts start to happen, and the beliefs start to happen, because your brain's like, oh, she wants to believe that she doesn't have to give in to every food thought. So I'm going to show her how. I'm going to show her she can. I'm going to show her when she has done that. Just like I showed you, you're not going to give in to a food thought, a food you don't like, a repulsive food. Right? So you're not powerless over food. So we can dismantle 100% belief that you're powerless, because it's not all foods. Okay? There's foods, even in my days of binging, even on volume, I would have binged on anything. I'm not binging on certain foods. Probably sardines. I'm not binging on sardines. Okay? I'm not binging on steak. Personally, that would not have been a food I would have binged on. Not binging on salad. Right? Start to really look at your beliefs. This is the work. This is the start of the work. There's also tactical things, right? And like physical things that we need to do to protect our, to keep our body full, physically full and satiated, and believing that it's getting food and that the body is safe, because the body's pulling you to eat. You think it's the mind because it's coming from your thoughts, but it's coming from your nervous system. And when the nervous system feels safe and enough over time, it knows you can live without excess food. Like, my body has learned that I can live a life without giving into food noise, because I still have food noise. I don't give into it. I don't answer the call. It's just, I've normalized it because I've developed a different relationship with it over time. Okay? So I don't have to believe every thought I think. I start to look at, if I have a food thought, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. What am I trying to escape? What am I trying to escape from feeling, or what do I need right now? Usually I just need to know I'm safe. And maybe not physically safe, emotionally safe. I can feel this feeling. I can feel frustration. I can feel fear. I can feel like I'm at a dead end. In my business, I feel like I'm at a dead ends all the time. Because as entrepreneurs, we always have challenges. There's always problems, right? I've decided that that's a part of being an entrepreneur. And when my body tells me, when I start to have a food thought, it's because my body is triggered. My nervous system is triggered of not enoughness in some way, shape, or form. Right? I don't answer the call. I'm like, what do I need right now in this moment? I just need to just take a breather. Right? That's why this can't come from meanness and hatred towards ourselves. We have to develop a relationship with ourselves. It comes from love and compassion. Okay? Which stems from our beliefs too. Right? It's the beliefs about who we are, what we're capable of, beliefs about food. And honestly, the fourth one is beliefs about failure. I would never have come to where I am without redeveloping my relationship with failure. And every time I ate, looking at it from a place of curiosity, compassion, and not, I would restrict more at one time. I would not eat for a day. I'd beat myself up. I'd be hating on myself. Like I put all that down in order to open myself up to develop a different relationship with growth, with figuring out what works for me, with change and doing it different. It doesn't happen overnight. So an urge is not a command. So an urge to eat comes from the body, comes from the thought. So the body doesn't feel safe. The nervous system doesn't feel safe. Okay? It works with the body and the mind to create an urge to pull you to eat. Right? It's a feeling and a thought. Okay? The feeling is there, but most likely it's the thought that's so loud that that's what we hear. Go get a piece of cake. Or for me, it was like, I can't wait for so-and-so to leave the room so I can eat X, Y, or Z. Okay, because I would hide food. They're all just patterns to keep us alive, coming from our nervous system. I've said this before in other podcasts. The nervous system is the filing cabinet of all of our beliefs, experiences, and what we've formulated that we know is true as fact. It's not fact. It's just what we experienced and created stories around. Stored in a filing cabinet in our nervous system. The brain reads it. The brain reads the nervous system, reads the filing cabinet in a way that's always looking to protect us. My body is not the problem. My body, these are my thoughts. My body loves me. My body has been there for me every frickin' day. My body is trying to do right by me. My body is like my best friend. My body is, I take really good care of my body, or I want to. It is really hard to want to take good care of your body when you hate it, right? I want to go to the gym. I want to lift weights. I want to eat well. I want to feel strong. I want to give it water. I don't want to give it alcohol because I love it. When we hate our body, it's like torture exercise. It's restriction. It's yelling at ourselves in the mirror or hiding. The body knows. If the body doesn't feel safe, it's going to pull you to eat, man. This is the truth, okay? I had to develop a different relationship with my body. Thoughts, beliefs, these are all beliefs. And then you act different, right? Because here's the deal with the thought model. Your body, food is a circumstance. Your body is a circumstance, like it's neutral. Then we have thoughts about it, which create feelings. And then we act based on how we feel, right? So my body, I changed the thought. It's not enough. to it's fine just the way it is, or it's serving me, or it loves me so much, or we're in a partnership. And then I have a feeling of joy. I have a feeling of love, of like lightness. And then I go to work out of a place of love. I want to feed it better. Okay. And then my results are I develop a deeper relationship with my body. I get the results I want. I show it how much I love it. It gets stronger. Whatever. What are some of the other ones? Shame is not required, right? Kind of already said that. But failure, we need to talk about failure. Your beliefs about failure. If you have very heavy beliefs about every time you overeat, you're going to burn out. You're going to stay stuck. I had to change what I believed about every setback I had. I've said this in so many different podcast episodes, but that's why we have to put down the shame, because the shame blocks you from your intelligence. That's literally what it does. And so when I'm in shame, I can't see any other solution for why I ate other than I'm fucked up. I'm broken. Shame, the emotion of shame blocks you from your higher intelligence. It blocks you from rational thought. That alone is the reason not to pick up shame, because I don't ever want to be offline with my higher self thinking. Ever. Because that's where the solutions are, in the higher level thinking. Right? And so we have to like really talk to ourselves differently. Beliefs that feel good, that feel true. I want to believe that I'm not broken. I want to believe that I'm not powerless over food. Like, start there. I want to believe my body is safe how it is. My body is enough how it is. Like, just start there. And you're going to see a lightness come over you. Right? And then create evidence around it. Your brain wants most brains want evidence, right? So it's hard to believe new things because we don't have the evidence. But you actually do have evidence if you look. And for me, it was like, okay, my husband eats food neutrally. So it's possible I can. Like, he's a human being with a brain, right? Other people are not obsessed over ice cream. Or we're also just normalizing ice cream is really good. And so, of course, I want more. Right? And that's coming from compassion and love. Like, not there's something wrong with me because I can't stop eating ice cream. Well, it's really good. And for me as a kid, I wasn't allowed to have any of those foods. So, of course, the little girl in me still wants this food. She's still in there. The little people in you that created this obsessiveness, potentially, they're still in there. They're running the show. And I know that might feel awful for some of you, but it's actually what's true. And the sooner you come to terms with, this was developed when I was 8 years old or whatever age you were, because I had no other coping skills and some shit was going on in my house. Compassion. And then you start talking to that 8-year-old. Like, oh, we're good here. Right? We're good. You don't need excessive amounts of food to live and thrive. So you have to change your relationship with failure. And I think some of the other beliefs are that it should be easier. It's not that easy. There's simple steps, but it can be hard at times. And I think we're quick to give in. We're quick to say we're not getting the results we want, and we feel like shit, feeling like a failure, and we sabotage our results that are actually on the way. I did this so many times. I was like, I should be losing weight faster. And I would feel like shit. And then on a day I felt fat, I'd eat. And then I'd be at square one. Because I'm 48. Doesn't take much. But the last journey for me to lose weight was like, I don't care how long this takes. I am going to sit in my feelings. I'm not going to react with food. I'm just going to decide to feel every feeling that comes over me and to expand my capacity to feel. Because us food obsessed people are not good at feeling our feelings. We're not. We haven't. We cope with food. As soon as we feel uncomfortable, our brain's offering us food noise. And that could be first thing in the morning. But that's to take a look at our life. Why am I so uncomfortable? Because here's another thing I'm going to leave you with, which I think is somewhat of a mic drop. If you do not have things in your life that feel fun, because a lot of my clients are like, but food eating is fun. Binging is fun. That's because you don't have enough things in your life that are fun. You have to create more fun in your life. You have to decide ahead of time, this is fun for me. This is the fun in my life so that I'm not overeating to create fun. It is a red flag when you're eating because it's fun that you do not have enough joy in your life. And that is not victimy. That is purposefully adding fun to your calendar and deciding that that's enough. Because eating because it's fun is an escape. You're escaping because life doesn't feel fulfilling. So what can feel fulfilling? And you don't have to change it upside down and around in 1 minute. But small shifts. So that is what I wanted to offer as I lead you into, I am hosting a masterclass April 16th at 12 o'clock live teaching. The link is in the show notes. If you want to take a deep dive into this, I'm going to go deeper into the thoughts. You can go listen to my last podcast episode that talks all about why we have food noise and binge. I'm going to talk about the beliefs, but I'm also going to talk about the physical things that we have to do, especially if you're trying to lose weight. The physical things that we have to do. And it really comes down to create safety in the body and to calm the mind. Okay? But this was about beliefs. Because remember, your same brain is telling you to eat and then it's telling you you're fucked up too. It's telling you to eat and then telling you you're fucked up for eating. Your same mind. You cannot listen to every thought. Your thoughts are not fact. Your brain is not spewing fact. It's spewing stories that are patterns that have been created when you did not know it was happening. And we have to interrupt it. And I'm going to show you how. I'm going to teach you tactical things. This is how you set yourself free, is through your thoughts and beliefs. Everything shifts from here. You can try to do the behavior stuff, but if you're not shifting your beliefs, you will snap back. And you will call it, I'm weak. You'll call it, I'm not good enough. It's not meant to be. It's not meant for me. I'm not disciplined enough. But you didn't actually change your beliefs, because their beliefs are what are going to create different results. If you don't believe that you can eat more food and lose weight, if you don't believe your body is okay, if you don't believe that you get to be compassionate and loving towards your body, you're going to binge and restrict. And restricting just creates more binging. Instead, if you believed that you're allowed, it's safe to eat a normal amount of food the day after you binge. This is something I learned and decided to just try because I started to really love myself more. I was like, I don't want to do this restrict and binge pattern. So I'm just going to eat the normal food that I was planning to eat after I go off the rails the next day. One of the biggest successes that I see shifts from clients is when they go on a fuck it, like even if they go off the rails on one meal or on a whole day, like even if they go off it for 15 minutes, they just, okay, I'm just going to go back to what I was doing. There's no fuck it for 5 days. That's self-hatred. And they've shifted their self-hatred. So the result is different because they changed their beliefs. For me, I believed I had to eat 1,100 calories a day. That kept me stuck in binging. I could not wrap my head around eating over 1,500 calories a day. Yesterday, I ate 1,900 calories. And I was in a calorie deficit still. Because I moved my body. Right? But I ate 1,900 calories yesterday. And I'm actually losing weight now. Right? Like I'm like, oh, I want to lose a few more pounds. So the scale is moving with me eating 1,800, 1,900 calories. Never would I have done that. I was like 800 to 1,000 calories. I had to like punish myself and restrict and eat boring food and no flavor and no starch and no dessert ever, right? No, then I'm pulled to eat everything that's not nailed fucking down. Now I'm like, I eat ice cream every day. I don't have to, but fuck it. If it's in my food plan, for me, if it's in my calories amount, fuck it. I'm enjoying it. It's a nice portion. It's not the fucking box. And that's because I changed my belief of what was safe. What's actually safe. So, that's it. You can click on the link to register for the masterclass. If you come live, you'll get an hour coaching with me on a separate day. Like we'll schedule a time for me to coach you for an hour and we'll actually get to the bottom of what's happening for you. If you come live, you'll get that opportunity to schedule with me an hour. But you also get the recording if you can't come. So that's in the show notes. And if you're listening to this and this is dead and gone and it's no longer that time and you want to take this work deeper with me, we can do a consult to see how I can help you relieve yourself of the food obsession. What it would look like to work together so that when you leave me, you develop a very different relationship with your food thoughts and food is not running your life. Because if we are like petrified of food thoughts, we're never actually going to be able to change our relationship with them because we panic when they come over us, or we have shame, or we're embarrassed, or fear, right? Those heavy feelings will create we have to get relief. We have to get relief and then we eat because it's so painful and scary and overwhelming, right? It's not pushing them down or that they never go away. Yeah, they do go away, but they come back at times. It's what we do with them when they do come back, which takes consistency over time. So if the masterclass is gone and you want to learn how I can help you, then we would do an hour consult. And the link to that, my calendar is in the show notes for that as well. But I believe in you so deeply. If you have a deep desire to heal this at the root, to change your relationship with food at the root, you also have the capability. Keep going. Please keep going. You can do this. And I'm here. Love you all. Goodbye. Thanks for spending time with me today on the You Get to Decide podcast. If you love what you heard, you could follow the show, share it with a friend, or leave a review wherever you listen. The more women we reach, the more women will rise. And if you are ready to go from stuck to unstoppable, go to www.alisongallagher.com to learn all about the first steps to work with me. Come join the movement and see what is possible for you. I'll see you on the inside. But I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.